Bashar. 1 month ago, I birthed a beautiful baby boy, and I'm looking for clarity and help on releasing the story of trauma that I am telling myself of how I could have created the birthing experience that I did. I was planning a at-home on natural water birth, and because of complications and because my son did not arrive until almost 43 weeks, we ended up at the hospital having to go through every medical procedure I did not want, that I did not plan for, which ended up resulting in an emergency C-section to save my son and I's life. If you can please help me to understand how I may have created this, how we create the things around the birthing experience, and if you can give any insights on why a soul might choose to come in versus C-section or vaginal birth, and if my son chose this.
All of it was chosen by both of you to experience challenges in a way that allows you to drop your insistence and your assumption about how you think things need to happen. So you gave yourself an opportunity to learn a valuable lesson about not being so insistent on the idea of what you typically call a spiritual way of doing things, so that you can validate all pathways as being equally spiritual if they are capable of providing the lessons you need to learn for your soul's growth in this life. So your child helped you understand this by taking you through a completely unexpected series of experiences on the path of birthing something that includes not only the birthing of your child, but the birthing of a new you that will relax your insistence on the way you think things need to go in order to accomplish what you need in this life. It doesn't mean you have to suffer or have to experience pain to do so, but it was a lesson that made you face the idea that sometimes you may be invalidating pathways that actually would be what you actually need for your soul's growth, rather than simply assuming that you can do things in what your society more classically might say is a more spiritual way, as if you should be beyond the idea of experiencing physical reality, which is equally valid to any spiritual experience whatsoever. So it's about relaxing the idea of separating the validation and the validity of spiritual experiences from spirit, and allowing yourself to accept that it is all a spiritual experience and is valid for your soul's growth. And then you may experience the effortlessness of a new path that is more representative of your true self, without invalidating the other paths you think you should be able to be beyond.
Hello, guys.
Good day, good day.
Good day. So good to virtually see you.
And you as well.
I have been recently very much excited about my life and about valuing myself, and that's a new thing. So yay to me.
All right, congratulations.
Just catching up, a little slim, a little, just perfect timing.
Yes.
And I've been having a lot of fun exploring around, being myself. I sometimes still get the reflections in the outside of resistance, but I know that's just an illusion, and I just laugh at it and sell my deodorant anyway.
All right. Again,
So,
of course, it is the remembrance that it's not so much what happens, but it's about what you do with what happens that makes the difference.
okay, that's really good to remember. Because sometimes I do choose to match that lower frequency, because the negative belief is, well, this is my only option, and that's not true.
No, not at all. Never. There's always, always a path for you that works for you, that is representative of your truth. Always. You just have to have the willingness to open up your imagination and creativity to find it, or even invent it.
Yes. I also think I was buying into a belief, or even a definition about waiting or being in a lull of, okay, I'm waiting for something I prefer, or I'm being myself until something more preferable comes up and I want to interact. And I I was defining, excuse me, defining waiting for that as a lull and negative, and it's not. It's cool. I'm just going to be me until something shows up that I want to interact with.
Yes, and the more that you are willing to be you, you will find that you will accelerate what will come to you.
Yes, I'm learning that. I'm seeing that. I'm excited to be cat's got my tongue. To be more of myself in a specific area. I'm finding more like-minded people there, and um, I'm excited to explore my creative gifts. I've been seeing signs and symbols related to the hybrid kids. My symbol with them is starfish, so I've been seeing a lot of starfish synchronicities.
Yes.
And
Perhaps that's a good nickname for you.
yes, that is a good nickname for me. Are there any other symbols that they want to throw out there, or is that enough for now? Me and
That is enough for now. Starfish will do.
it will do very well. Um, yeah, so I think I've been defining meditation in a limiting way as well, which is
All right.
interesting to learn. I've been viewing it as a separation, like, okay, my life's so exciting. Okay, now I'm gonna go meditate over here.
Remember that following your passion is an active meditation.
Absolutely. There's no separation between meditation and acting on my excitement.
No, none. If you wish to meditate in the traditional sense, then you're simply following your passion. You're not doing anything other than that.
I think I was defining meditation as like, let me go be quiet for a while, and that's challenging
That's
sometimes.
all right. Being quiet for a while can also be an expression of your passion.
Yeah, I think I'm learning to redefine rest and recuperation and rejuvenation as all part of the excitement. And
Absolutely. It's not an interruption in it. Just as when you are acting on your passion and something may come up within you that represents a negative belief, then you have to understand that that's not an interruption in your excitement. It's part of your excitement to discover that so that you can let it go. So finding that you need rest and recuperation doesn't have to be seen as an interruption in your flow. It can actually be seen as part of your flow.
yes, the other redefinition I'm making is when being alone, I'm still with everyone, all connected with my guides, with all of us. It just I'm taking
Always.
that always. I'm
Always.
just taking that alone moment, but I've been defining it as
All right.
alone versus with people, which is again not correct.
All right. Well, it's not that it's not correct, it's simply a choice. So you can either see it as alone in the sense of separation, or you can see it as all one.
It's up to me,
It's up
100%.
to you. This is all about you understanding how important it is to learn what definitions work for you and what definitions do not.
Absolutely. And it's easier for me to discern now when I'm buying into these. So that is sinking in, and I'm grateful for that. And I'm just going to continue on that journey of realizing when I'm choosing to buy into a negative belief. And it's been fun. And I love you and our Bashar community so, so, so very much.
Our unconditional love to you as well, starfish.
Thank you so much, Bashar. Okay, one more question.
Yes.
The Pleiadians, they are our cousins and they are likely to visit Earth. Are they more, I know likely is such a relative term,
Well, they are visiting Earth quite often.
and they are going to be making open contact possibly even before the Yael or with at the same time?
That is not absolutely given, but the introduction of hybrids to human society and the introduction of Pleiadians to human society will occur somewhere around the same window of time. It is a little bit challenging at this point to say who will really be first. There may be a mix of things, but nevertheless, both of them are, shall we say, in the running to be up front, or at least within a similar window of time in the introduction of ETs to human society on Earth.
Is there any other race of beings that are in the running to be in the first couple?
How about letting Earth humans deal with hybrids and Pleiadians first?
Sounds great. Good idea.
All right.
So
You'll get
glad
used to
you
the
part
different
of it.
species over time. The introductions will happen as humans become ready for them. But let's start simply. Let's start with those that are most like you, so that there is some degree of familiarity in the sense, literally, of the word family. So that way you can absorb their existence, and we will talk a little bit more about this in the upcoming Sedona transmission.
Thank you so much, Bashar. I love you so much, and you get free deodorant, and I love you.
We thank you. We don't need the deodorant, but we thank you nonetheless.
Love you.
You as well. Good day.
Good day.
So I was very excited to connect with you and your videos and have a lot of help with me. So, but I have my question is that one single video you told me that we should to separate the job between our physical mind and higher mind. It's very difficult for us to connect with higher mind and how to speak with them. So can you tell me more about how to connect with high self and how to shun the job between the physical body and physical mind and the higher mind, and how to download our job rather than to take the burden of higher self? Thank you very much.
This is why we give you the formula. It helps that idea come about. It helps you remember that you are connected as the higher mind. Following your passion is responding to a message and a communication from the soul, from the higher mind. So understand the formula and follow the formula as precisely as possible, and you will start experiencing more synchronicity, which will bring you the realization that you are more consciously connecting with your soul, with your higher mind, which is all that your higher mind is. It is the soul that remains in non-physical reality, while you experience a part of your soul experiencing the idea you call physical reality.
Hey, what's going on, Bashar? It's Rohan, aka RX Mundi from Bucks County, PA. Back with another question. So the challenge I'm currently facing has to do with confidence, and I'm wondering if you could provide any insight as to where confidence inherently comes from. I've heard it said in self-help circles that confidence is something you have to build, and things like practicing or going to the gym can build confidence. But I've also heard you say that even when you're not confident, that's something that you're confident in. So I'm wondering, what could help me as an aspiring professional speaker as well as a rap artist? What could help me in the now moment when I'm on stage not be so nervous and actually deliver the best talk that I could possibly give, as opposed to putting my confidence in what I don't prefer, which is messing up on stage or things of that nature. So again, as always appreciate your time, and thanks so much, Bashar. Aveo.
All right. Now, this can involve all sorts of different levels of emotional complexity. Because if you understand the process, if you understand that you are always confident about something, which clearly you understand that concept, but you are still choosing to place your confidence in the idea that you lack confidence, then going back to the motivational mechanism that exists in all of you, there must be a reason for doing that you think benefits you. So you have to explore why you would think being confident about having no confidence benefits you. of why having confidence in the fact or the idea or the belief that you would have to be nervous or stumbling or not deliver the information properly or any of these ideas in some way, shape, or form benefits you. Sometimes it can be that then you can say as an excuse, well, I didn't really perform well because I simply didn't have the ability to perform well. That's just an example. But it gives you a reason for doing something that you don't prefer to do. So you have to let go of needing reasons for things that might happen and be okay with whatever happens. You can, in a sense, laugh it off. It doesn't really matter, ultimately, whether you stumble in delivering information to people or not. It doesn't really ultimately matter. The crowd that is listening to you is encouraging you. They want you to succeed. You have to understand that they're there for you. They're there for themselves, to be there for you, to give them what they need. So they're supporting you. They're with you. And it doesn't matter if you're absolutely perfect or not when you deliver that information in whatever style you deliver it in, no matter what that format is. The idea is to understand that you can't be your idea of perfect all the time, because perfection is not a goal. Perfection is a process. You're always perfect as you are at the moment, and you will always improve and you will always be better. And if you're okay with the process of constantly becoming more, constantly becoming better, constantly improving, then it won't matter what happens at the moment, because we know that your intent and your earnestness are there. You are attempting to be of service to them, and it is from that heart space that you're coming. Therefore, people will look aside from any little gaffes, any little stumbles. They will see you as simply human. They will relate to you more readily that way. You will be matching what they themselves feel within themselves, because you're the one there delivering. You're the one that's on stage, being confident enough to be there to reflect to them a lot of what they're going through in their emotional complexity, saying, oh, I'm glad he's over there doing that because I could never do that. So I appreciate that he is doing that for me and being of service to me, because I could never do that. Now, of course, you doing it can serve as a living example of the fact that they could learn to do that too, but they're in deep appreciation that you're the one on the stage doing it, so they don't have to feel nervous being up there doing it, because they know that you're a reflection of what they could be doing in their own life, in their own way, that would be reflective and representative of them being their true selves as well. So they only have deep appreciation for you. So in a sense, it doesn't really matter whether you stumble through it or not. You are, and always capable of, saying to them, you know, I am just having this moment. I am glad that you are all here joining me in this moment. I am simply fumbling through this, but I appreciate that you are supporting me in the doing of this. Let's all do this together and move on, and you will find that you will improve. So it's about not really being so focused on the idea of being perfect, and just delivering from your heart and letting them know that that's what you're doing, no matter how it comes out.
Hello, Mr. B. Good to be together with all of you.
Good day.
I have a question that's going on in our civilization right now, and that has a lot of conflicting beliefs and ways to handle it, is the border, which you've talked about as well. And so we've had the biggest influx of people, you know, through the border in the last 4 years, and it's caused a lot of crime and a lot of drugs into America.
Not as much as you think. In fact, most of the crime and the drugs does not come from the people crossing into your borders. It comes from people that are already in your borders.
Yes, I understand. So those people higher up, maybe even in the government, that are responsible for this trade. Okay, that goes to the deeper root of the issue. So that's good. But as far as still the crime and how to handle these things, like I'm, you know, personally on the two views of how to handle these things. I understand, it's all about love, expansion, inclusion, and really taking care of everyone.
Well, it's about getting to the root causes that people feel they need to commit crimes to resolve. So it's all about the idea of dealing with people on a level where you can help them understand why they may feel powerless, why they may feel worthless, why they may feel undeserving, and why they lash out because of those belief systems. In other words, I'm going to put it in this particular way. People that use force, people that use weapons, are of the belief that they are so powerless that they cannot get what they need in life without them. So you have to address the idea of why these people feel powerless, why they feel disconnected. You have to address the emotional, psychological patterns. You have to break the chains of victimhood and victimization and abuse that has existed in your society for hundreds, if not thousands of years. You have to get to the root causes and understand that rehabilitation must involve an honest investigation on the part of everyone about the idea of why humans often feel so dissociated and so disconnected from their self-empowerment, from source, from their spiritual nature. You have to bring people back into remembering who they truly are. Take them through exercises that reconnect them in their mind to the idea of their power as a spirit, to their nature as a being, as an aspect, as a reflection of all that is. If you don't address these things, you will never resolve the idea of crime.
I love that, Bashar, because what I get from that is taking the steps to inclusion to include other people immediately diffuse a lot of scarcity right there.
Yes, let me give you an example. If you have not already heard it, this comes from an actual incident that occurred on your planet, where a young person came into a bank with a gun intending to rob the bank. All of the people were very afraid and fell to the floor, as he commanded them to do, except for one teller. This woman saw the pain, the anguish within that individual, and stood up and said, "Let me help you. Why are you in so much pain that you feel the need to do this to get what you need? Let me help you. Talk to me. Let me talk to you. Let me find out why you feel so powerless that you need to do this." And this woman engaged this person so deeply, so honestly, and so truthfully that this young person finally simply handed her his gun and turned himself over to the authorities, and was helped by going into therapy rather than going into jail, which would have only exacerbated his condition. So it takes these kinds of actions and these kinds of people who stand strong within their own spiritual fortitude to see what's needed in somebody who believes that they lack that connection in order to turn this around. That's what it takes.
I love that, Bashar. Thank you very much, because I've been of the belief of, maybe taking actions of, it's always important to have a level of awareness of defense to take care of situations. But I feel in that concept of defense, often people forget about the heart of the issue and they just think about me instead about us.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
It's about the lack of connection and the lack of community that exists in a society where everyone is focused only on themselves instead of the service to others, which includes service to self, because you are part of the whole. So serving the whole will serve the individual, but serving the individual often does not serve the whole.
Beautiful. Thank you. That is a huge shift for me, just in terms of it's all about teaching and healing and being and education. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Education is the answer. Okay.
Thank you for your willingness to experience the openness of receiving that information.
Yes, because I was very resistive of the idea, and so it feels good to be able to ponder both sides.
All right. We thank you. Ave.
I'll say good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? Oh, hey, thank you. Now, once again, we would like to take this opportunity, first of all, to thank each and every one of you, and all of you together collectively, who are participating in the co-creation of this transmission. Once again, each and every time you are willing to participate in this kind of communication, it forms not only a link and a bridge between your world, your frequency, your dimension, your reality, and ours, but also by creating such a link, it creates a new dimension, a new reality, a new vibration that will grow and change and become a space, become a reality in which we can one day both interact more and more directly. So we thank you for the co-creation of this new space, of this new reality in which we all shall together participate. Let us begin this day of your time, this transmission, by calling this communication permission slips. Let us talk about permission slips. What are permission slips? Well, the idea we would like to share with you this day of your time is that many times we hear in conversations with many of you questions and discussions of different kinds of tools, rituals, books, information. And we are often asked, does this tool work? What about this ritual? What is the best way to do this? What is the best way to do that? Now, we have often discussed, of course, the notion that for each and every one of you individually, because each and every one of you is a distinct signature vibration, that obviously whatever tool, ritual, idea, information you attract to yourself is, by definition, at that moment, the one that will work best for you. Because it is keyed, it is matched to your frequency. That's why you attracted it. So even if the very next day you attract something different, if it is that attraction, the product of the change in your frequency, and you trust the synchronicity of your life having brought that to you, then even if it is different than what you were doing the day before, it is at that moment the perfect tool for you, because you attracted it with your frequency, like vibration to like vibration. But in talking about all of these different techniques, tools, rituals, meditations, books, information, what have you, there is something very important to understand about all these things. Be they ideas or artifacts, doesn't matter. What they really simply are permission slips that you give to yourself to be who you are. The power does not exist in those objects, in those rituals. No real effect per se comes from them. Now, we understand, of course, that in physical reality, when something is crystallized in a physical way, of course it has its own attributes. Such things as crystals are obviously representative of certain kinds of energy patterns, yes. But nevertheless, the point is that regardless of what attribute the object or idea or technique or tool itself may have inherently, the idea is that it still doesn't really create any effect within you or do anything for you unless you choose to match the frequency of the idea it symbolizes for you. So you are generating the effect yourself out of your own energy, but what you are doing is you are relying on your belief system, which sometimes can be unconscious, to attract to you the symbol that best reflects the vibration within you, that will allow you permission to be yourself. We understand that many times some of the belief systems and ideas and definitions that you are brought up believing in on your planet will create certain notions and patterns within you that makes it seem as if you do not have the ability to be who you say you wish to be, that there are obstacles or challenges in your way that seem to prevent you sometimes, as we hear it from you, from really becoming the full person you wish to be, from really having the full passionate life you wish to have. This is not empirically true, but we understand that if you have a belief system that says it is that way, then for you it is true. Because even though there is no real empirical physical reality, your experience of physical reality is real. That is the only thing that is real. Experience is the reality, not the reality you think you're experiencing, just the experience itself. And when you gravitate toward, attract yourself to, or attract to you some particular idea of information, some particular technique of delivery, even including this idea of channeling, or some object such as a crystal or some book or some ritual or some meditation, all of those things are just a portion of yourself writing you a permission slip to let you finally be in a space that's safe for you to really express your abilities, to be more of who you are. The things themselves do nothing for you. You are doing it all. But if you feel you need an excuse to do it, a permission slip from the universe to do it, then that's what all of these tools and techniques are for. You attract what reflects the belief system within you that makes it seem as if the technique is giving you the ability to do what you want to do, but you're simply giving it to yourself. You are giving yourself permission through the symbol to be more of who you are. So please remember that when and if, at any time, you have a question in your head, what technique is the best for this? What tool should I use? All the things you're ever going to find, all the things you're ever going to have recommended to you, all the things you're ever going to be attracted to are really nothing more than a variation of a permission slip that you are giving to yourself to reveal to yourself, through the particular symbology of that slip, what kind of pattern exists, or what kind of belief system exists, or what kind of definition exists within your consciousness. And in knowing that, in going into the ritual, in using the tool or the technique with that in mind, you can empower yourself that much more rapidly, that much more powerfully, that much more thoroughly by recognizing that even though you may feel at this moment that you need that tool, need that technique in order to have what you want, in order to be who you wish to be, you can then now at this point understand it is you simply doing this by having given yourself permission to let it be all right in some kind of context that your belief system can relate to, so that you will remove any reason not to be yourself. Now, ultimately, you will understand that if this is what these things are, if they are nothing but permission slips, then certainly, as you grow, as you learn, as you expand, you will realize that any technique, any tool will work, will do the same thing, that they're all valid in that context, they're all equal, one is not better than another, and In general, you will also arrive at a point where you will realize that you don't really need them to simply make a change within yourself just because that's what you wish to do. You will simply shortcut the process, not need the technique, not need the tool. You will simply say, well, I'll just choose. I will just choose to be that way. I will just choose to be that state of being. I don't need any other tool, any other technique, other than the recognition that what I choose will be so. What I choose is up to me. And if I wish to attract a technique or tool to myself because I feel it is fun, because I feel it will give me a reason to do what I wish to do, be who I wish to be, well, all well and good, so be it. But knowing that will eventually eliminate the need for the tool itself. Because you are the primary tool, you are the primary technique. Now, we are going to cover more of the ideas I'm about to speak about in what you call tomorrow's transmission as well. But we're going to lay some foundations here and now for that. The next thing we would like to bring up in connection and in conjunction with this idea of permission slips is how to allow this concept to sink in more deeply and how to form a relationship more clearly and more consciously with what many of you have for a long time called your higher self. This mysterious higher self. Where is it? Don't know. Is he up there? Is she over there? Don't know. How high? This high? This high? Don't know. What is the higher self? Thank you. Let's address this. So you have some definitions to work with, which again are nothing but what? Permission slips. That's all we're delivering here. Everything we say, everything we deliver to you is nothing but another form of permission slip. Take which one works for you. The ones that don't work for you, let them be. Now, let's go into a little bit more detail. Higher self. All right. Most of you are familiar with the idea that you have a physical consciousness, a personality as a physical being that you relate to as yourself, so to speak. But then there is this mysterious idea of the higher self. Simply put, most of you understand, or at least intuit, that the so-called higher self, well, is relatively non-physical. Even more simply put, you could say that there is a vibrational frequency just above physical reality, just beyond physical reality, in which resides what you might refer to as a template for physical reality, or upon which you construct your physical experience. It is in that template level, just beyond the physical threshold, that the higher self exists. Now, please do not confuse the idea of higher self with oversoul or spirit or what have you. Higher self is a specific idea that is like a version of the person you are in physical reality, but a version that has a broader perspective, a broader point of view. It's like having a twin standing on a mountaintop while one is also standing in the valley. And they can communicate with each other. And the higher self can say, I see you walking down the road, and I see that there is, well, a little bit of a ditch up ahead, so if you walk this way and walk that way, you'll avoid it. And the one in the valley going, oh, thank you very much. This is, very simply put, the relationship between the two. It is you with a higher perspective, a broader perspective, a bigger picture, without the complications that can arise from the personality construct's belief system. So the higher self is like a guiding principle, a governing principle, so to speak, that is a part of your complex as a person, but is the non-physical component that acts as the conduit to even higher versions of your soul, of your being, of your spirit, but also acts as the intermediary between those higher levels and the physical personality construct, and can distill information from the higher spirit and soul over soul levels in a way that your personality can understand. So the higher self functions like a translator, taking the information from the higher levels and bringing it down to earth in a way that can communicate to the personality effectively. However, because of some of the belief systems that exist within the personality structure on your planet, there has been confusion as to exactly how to form a clear communication line to the higher self. So let's make something very, very clear. This may sound a little bit surprising, but that's all right. Surprises are good. There are 3 levels here in this idea. It might surprise you to know, as personality constructs, as physical minds, you do not conceive of any ideas. What do I mean? The personality does not conceive of concepts. It perceives concepts. It does not conceive them. Here are the 3 levels. The higher self conceives. The physical brain receives. The personality mind perceives. That's all it does. Any idea, any inspiration, any imagination you have ever had doesn't come from the physical mind portion of you. It comes from the higher self portion of you, through the receiver, the brain, and is translated by the brain into a vibration that the physical mind then perceives as a reflected reality. One more time, because this is crucial to understand. You don't conceive of any ideas as a physical mind. That's not what the physical mind is designed to do. It cannot create ideas. It can only perceive the result of an idea from the higher self. Now, this may sound at first somewhat limiting, but in fact, it's very, very freeing, because you can all stop thinking. You can all stop thinking you're in charge. You can all stop thinking you have to think of everything. You can all stop thinking that you're the one guiding the ship. You're not. You are just looking at the road. You're just experiencing the path that you, the whole you, is creating. But the reason you get into trouble, the reason you feel stuck as a physical mind, is because you've been taught to believe that the physical mind is the one coming up with all this stuff. And it's not. So when you try to manipulate it, it doesn't work, because the physical mind is not designed to actually create those concepts. It is only designed to perceive the effect of the creation of those concepts through the receiver, the physical brain. Now, here's also what happens. And again, this is an important distinction. Physical mind cannot perceive how something happens. It can only perceive how something happened. One more time. It's a very important distinction, and I'll explain. Physical mind does not have the capacity to perceive how something happens. It can only perceive how something happened. But because the physical mind thinks it's coming up with these things, it then takes what happened and assumes that that's how things happen. And it's not. It's only what happened that time. And it thinks, well, if I do that again, I can make this happen, I can make that happen. No. You might get some degree of repetitional success with that philosophy, but it will never go beyond the parameters of what you observed in that particular happenstance. Because what happened was designed to allow that particular thing to happen. And that particular thing doesn't necessarily require the same ingredients as something else. So when you may want something else to happen, when you may want to expand on what happened, you cannot use the same ingredients that made that happen, because then all you'll do is repeat the cycle and wonder why you're not getting anywhere. You have to allow the connection to your own higher self to be the one that will allow you to experience the reality that comes from the higher self, because the higher self is the only part of you that actually knows how things happen, because it's on the mountaintop. It has the broader perspective. It can see what's coming. It can orchestrate. You're in the valley as a physical being. From the physical perspective, your view is somewhat limited. But the idea is it doesn't matter. As we will discuss and point out, and as many of you have heard in The Secret, all you really need to do, to use the analogy they use of driving your car, is see the road just a few hundred feet ahead. You don't have to see the road all the way from your beginning to your destination. That's the higher self's point of view. So you don't have to know exactly how you're going to get there. All you need to know as the physical side of the personality mind is where you're at right now. The higher self will tell you, keep going. Turn left. Turn right. You're going to get there quicker this way. You're going to get there quicker that way. You need to stop for now. You need to take a rest. You need to take a bathroom break. Then get back in your car and keep going. That comes from the higher self portion of the total being that you are as a person, as a persona. But the physical mind aspect of the personality does not have the capacity to understand how things happen. So, stop trying to figure it out, because you never will as a physical person. Only as a higher self expression, when you are in communication and allowing that communication to occur, will you then be able to take advantage of knowing how it's going to happen, but the physical mind will not know how it's going to happen. This is using the invisible to your advantage. And this is why you talk about such things as, well, you just have to take it on faith. No, you don't. It's really about knowing and understanding the nature of your actual existence, understanding the structure of the relationship, understanding how it is you have arranged yourself as a consciousness, and then simply using it in the same way that you use a telephone, a light switch, or any other device. It's simply a matter of understanding the nature of it, and then taking advantage of using the nature of it, and using the power of the invisible, because it's very, very solid. Just because your physical mind can't perceive it, can't perceive the how of it, and how this is all happening, doesn't mean it cannot receive the benefit of how it's all happening. But in order to really do that as fully as you possibly can, you must drop the assertion and the assumption that the physical mind needs to know how everything works. Because it never, ever will. It's not designed to. And this allows you to lighten up your load, stop carrying so much baggage, stop trying to do your higher self's job, and just do your own. That's why so many of you are so tired when you are trying to do certain things in a certain way. It's because you're trying to do a job you weren't designed to do. That's exhausting. Stop. You were not hired to do that job. Your higher self already has the job, and it's working for you perfectly. Work with it. Work with it. Not against it by trying to do the job it was designed to do. Just do the job you were designed to do, which is perceive what has happened and allow yourself to know that what has happened can be used by you to your advantage by maintaining positive meaning from your belief system into it. Allowing yourself to do that as physical mind is what will keep the communication lines open. Acting on your passion, acting on your excitement, always putting positive meaning into whatever happens is what will keep the lines open to your higher self to receive the communication, to know that you can take the next step, and the next step, and the next step, and the next step, because whatever it is that does happen will always allow you to take the next step, no matter what it is, as long as you relate to it in the appropriate way as a physical mind, and don't attempt to relate to it in an inappropriate way as a higher mind yourself. Let the higher mind come through you and relate to it, but don't try to do the higher mind's job for it. It will always, always be difficult for you to do because you're not designed to do that. So again, higher self conceives. Physical brain receives. Physical mind perceives. That's it. That is the totality of your persona in physical reality, with this connection to the level just above, vibrationally just above, what you call solid and tangible reality. Now, of course, to your oversoul, to your spirit, the higher self is actually quite solid, quite physicalized, quite a bit more dense vibrationally than you are when you are on the higher spirit level, on the oversoul level. It is, again, just above what you call the frequency of physical reality. We will go into this, as we say, in more detail, in more depth, tomorrow of your time. Also, what we will go into in more depth and in more detail tomorrow of your time is the concept that we have talked about many times, and you have heard from other places many times, but which we will now deliver in a different way. The concept of the difference between state of being and circumstances. And again, this ties into what we are saying. In a nutshell, as you say, the idea is to understand, as we have said in other ways, that circumstances do not determine your state of being. Your state of being determines your circumstances. Now, what's key here, though, is to understand once again that because of the way the personality mind has been taught to think of its job, it will often hear that statement as, oh, well then, if I get into this state of being, I will create circumstances that will be exactly reflective of what I prefer. And if I don't see those, something's wrong. This is what must be avoided, is the assumption that circumstances, that the appearance of circumstances mean anything. Again, remember, they are neutral. It's what you put into them from the state of being you choose to be in that determines the effect of the state of being of your life, the quality of who you are, the level of your passion, not what the reflection looks like. So, taking this a step further, beyond the idea, beyond the mechanistic connective statement of it's not circumstances that determine your state of being, it's state of being that determines your circumstances. Taking it a step further, you could actually help break that connection that doesn't serve you by restating this idea in a more definitive way. Circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. Circumstances don't matter. Only state of being matters. Now listen to the way that translates in your language. Circumstances don't matter. Don't materialize things. Only your state of being matters, materializes things. So, circumstances don't matter. Only, underline, 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 only your state of being matters. Big, fat, period. Exclamation point. Close quotes. Parentheses, brackets.